Alright, haulers. Hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Of course, we have already picked up, we have a load of shipping containers which are containing some black powder in them. No pressure, right? Just really gotta not crash, otherwise we go boom. So probably not the best thing. But we are taking this from here in Aberdeen, where we left off last, down to Glasgow. Goodness, struggling with words. And the reason we're doing that is to obviously continue our exploration of the UK, starting from top to bottom. That way we can at least explore a majority of the roads. Obviously, there's a couple of things. I'll have to come back eventually and explore all of the roads for that achievement, as well as purchase all of the garages. But I believe now you can purchase them online instead of having to actually travel to them. So what'll happen is once we have the money, we'll just purchase it online, travel back, do a little driving, get everything unlocked. But that's for way down the road because, I mean, we're not even close to being done with the UK and we have the rest of the entire ETS2 map to cover. So, we are going to be busy for quite some time with this series. American Truck Simulator is kind of okay as is. We're starting to really make headway with some of it, really focusing right now on the forestry achievements. But I'm hoping... Excuse me. Oh, goodness. I had some soda, so I'm like burping like crazy. I'm trying really hard not to. But, with American Truck Simulator, I'm hoping that the timing of how I've started my series will mean that kind of, if SCS software keeps going as they have been, they'll kind of release new content as I'm doing the series, which on the Euro Truck Sim side makes it more difficult because it's going to be a lot harder to catch up. But on the American Truck Sim side, I will have a little bit of like wiggle room to still be able to accomplish achievements while I'm waiting for new content. And then obviously the new content brings with it new achievements, so we'll be able to keep going with that. World of Trucks I've put on the side right now. I'm doing some of the other ones right now that I can do that don't involve trucking, so I've been really, digging through pictures and looking at all the pictures and, if you like 500 of them or something. Problem with that is I'm super picky. It's like when I like a photo on World of Trucks, I'm genuinely liking it because I like the composition of the photo, I like the stylings, I like how they took it. But there's a lot of people that upload they'll include I have the UI up right now, with my mirror. I have my mirror up, I have my map up. They'll include screenshots with all that stuff up. It's just like, what's the point in that? Don't do that. I don't like that, especially with multiplayer. It's like, they'll have their names on, they'll have all that stuff on. It's like, it's a button. You can press a button to turn off names in multiplayer. Do it if you're taking a screenshot. Holy crap, it just doesn't look good. But because of that, it's taken me that much longer to actually go through and properly like each photo. I am also realizing too that I took the route out of Aberdeen that we took into Aberdeen. I think there's a second route to Glasgow, which I should have gone down. But I guess eventually when we come back to this area, we'll just end up doing this route again. I also have to be careful because I forgot about how windy these roads are, and I really don't want to go flipping my truck with a load of black powder on. I don't think that would be a very good day. But yeah, so that's kind of overview of achievements. We're just going to keep chugging away on them as we can. Right now I'm not really going to go super out of my way. I'm kind of trying to plan it out. I have a full list of how I'm trying to go about doing this, because some of them overlap. You can do some of them all at once. That's how, with forestry, if you hauled 3 of the heavy forestry trailers, that also counts as 3 out of the 8 of the forestry trailers that you can take, which is another achievement. So I've already completed one of those because obviously we still have, I think, 3 more forestry trailers to take. But, hopefully we can finish that up here pretty quick and move on from there. But yeah, so there's definitely a method to it. And we'll get there one step at a time. The other thing I want to talk about when it comes to gaming in Euro Truck is, I talked about it last episode, and of course I'm recording this episode within the same day of the last one. I think it's been a full 24 hours since I recorded it. So we've gotten some more information on the new truck that's coming, or whatever new content it was. They released that video with the smoke and with the truck sounds on their Twitter as a teaser, Well, it sounds to me like it's not about smoke. It sounds to me like it's about a truck because I guess Carthu, I don't remember his name, but one of their moderators or one of their employees posted a picture, I believe it was, in the middle of the night too. Obviously, it wasn't the middle of the night for me, it was a different time of day, on their forum, which showed what looked to be a Renault T-Series, which I know nothing about this truck. Like, I know it exists, but I haven't ever really followed any of it. Like, I don't know the details behind it, but some people were able to capture the picture and kind of, it looks like someone might have enhanced it or like gone through it, and it looks like it's a Renault T coming in, which I guess is, it takes, I think right now the only series they have in ETS2 is like the Magnum or something like that, which a lot of people crapped on. I kind of have a sweet spot for it in terms of, it was, I think, one of the cheapest and easiest trucks to customize, so I used to always buy that one for all of my drivers when I first started this game because it was just the best option to just buy in bulk and stuff. Which, honestly, that would be cool if SCS offered that, now that I think about it. Like, if you bought more than one truck at a time instead of buying them one by one, if you get a bulk discount, that would be kind of cool. Add a little more realism to it. And I say realism because a lot of places actually do that type of stuff, so that would definitely be funny. But yeah, so it sounds like we've got a Renault T-Series, whatever that is, coming to Eurotruck. So that's cool because it adds some more variants. It means that that's going to be the only truck you see in multiplayer for some time, but I don't really go on multiplayer much anymore, especially when I'm doing mostly single-player content. But yeah, I guess, let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know if you're excited for it, what trucks you want to see. I know right now, I believe the International Lone Star is coming to American Truck Simulator here soon. They haven't released any official information on it, but they very blatantly showed the Lone Star in one of their office tours, I believe it was. And a lot of people love to hate on the International Lone Star. It's very much a you love it or you hate it truck. I have mixed feelings on it. I think it's a very stylized truck. Like, it's the perfect type of truck for like a NASCAR hauler when it's all chrome and shiny and clearly $1 million on wheels type of deal. I think when it comes to general use, I don't really like it. It feels kind of old-fashioned, even though it's supposed to be like their modern truck. But I like that truck. I know the Western Stars. I'm a huge Western Star fan, having been, I'm a Mainer, Maina, excuse me. But that's one of the most popular trucks up here because we're a logging state. People use those trucks for logging all the time. If you follow like Western Star on Twitter like I do, and I've retweeted some of their photos, a lot of times you'll see trucks from BC, from Canada, from Maine, from North, So I've always been a huge Western Star fan. I would say, Western Star and Peterbilt are kind of at the top of my list. Did not realize that was a cop behind me. That's kind of freaky. But those are probably the tops of my list. Kenworth, I'm not a huge Kenworth fan. I never have been. And I think mostly it's because regionally it was never a truck that I was around growing up. Kenworth for me has always been more of a long haul type of deal. Like, the only time I ever saw it was if it was on the highway. Big trucks up here right now, the new Volvo VNR, I think. I love the VNR too. The new Volvos, they just look so good. I like that futuristic feel. I just like that. I don't like Tesla. I don't like the Tesla trucks. I think they look kind of odd, but I guess when people picture like future, they always think like that round kind of odd shape, so I guess it makes sense. But up here it's mostly, the Volvos are taking off right now for, freight and stuff like that for delivery. When it comes to construction, Volvo was a big one, and also Mack or even Ford. I think it was, Ford and Sterling were the big ones for like small delivery trucks. Iveco really took off lately. I believe it's Iveco. I don't know if it's Iveco. I stand corrected. It might not be. There's another Chinese company too that does it. I don't remember what the name of it is. But let's see if we can come out here. Looks like we're all clear there, so we're going to come out and make our right turn. And I do have the tag axle down, I should mention that. Or lift axle, sorry, not tag axle. I don't know if that's interchangeable. Let me know if that's interchangeable. I have yet to Google that. I should probably just do that and stop being lazy. But, yeah, I guess that's enough truck talk. Let's move on to a couple of things that I want to talk about. The first big one... Well, actually, I do have a list here. Let me take a quick look here. So VR, I want to talk about VR, and the reason I want to talk about VR is recently a friend of mine, Eric O'Neill, he got a new graphics card, which, if you didn't see, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. This is hilarious. You can't make this shit up. I give Eric shit constantly. He gives me shit constantly, and this was like the best form of giving him shit that could have come my way, which is. He got his new graphics card, like it came in, and he proceeded to sit there and like get it unboxed and all that stuff while I was, you know, on video chat with him, because we like to do that with Discord and stuff. And we were joking because he pulls out the instructions and it says on it, you know, remember to... Excuse me. Oh, get past me, bud. I gotta move over. It says... remember to take the plastic off, because, you know, when you get new electronics, they often have that plastic wrap to it. You know, that cling film almost on a lot of them. And he thought that was hilarious. He's like, how can people be that stupid and not forget that? I was like, you'd be surprised. There are people out there, and we were joking about that back and forth. He texted me, like, he had to go because the computer he was installing the card on was the one that he was video chatting me on. So obviously you can't install a video card while it's running. That's obvious. I mean, duh. But, so he texts me on Discord, maybe... I mean, it only was like, I want to say 10 or 20 minutes after, and he says, hey, so you know how we were just joking about that? I guess he pulled out his old graphics card that he was replacing, and it turns out he never took the plastic off of his old graphics card. He just couldn't see it either because it was on the bottom of his card, so, you know, like, not only did he miss it when he installed it, but he never found it because it was like, he couldn't actually see it in his case. I was like, you idiot. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, you can't make that up. We were just joking about how there's people that will forget that stuff. And, oh god, that's like people that were like voted for Brexit and then thought like, oh, I'm gonna vote for it because it's not gonna happen. And then it happened and now everyone's freaking out. Like, those feel like the same kind of deal to me. It's just hilarious to me that happened. But he bought his graphics card, and shortly after he got VR, and the reason he got VR is because Eric is currently participating in the OCRP iRacing League. And, you know, you guys have heard me talk about OCRP a couple of times. I don't know if I've talked about it in ETS2, I know I've talked about it in American Truck Sim, but they have an iRacing league, so iRacing, you know, one of the best simulators out there, one of the most realistic simulators. And they're doing the Ganter Outdoors Trucking, you know, NASCAR truck series. Not trucking, truck series, sorry. You know, it used to be, like, I'm struggling to get that right because I stopped watching it when it was still the Craftsman truck series. And Craftsman is, like, a tool company that I don't even know if it still exists. I think it was a Lowe's, like, company or something like that. I know that's where you always found it. But, well, I'm like back and forth here. I accidentally just bumped my wheel. But, so he got his VR headset so that when he's racing, one, it's better immersion. Two, it gives him more freedom to do more VR stuff. And I'm gonna get more into that in a little bit too. But also, it gives him, like, it's so much easier to be able to race in. Like, you can see better. It's like getting an enhancement for American Truck Sim. If you get VR for American Truck Sim, or you get Track IR for it, where you can actually look around, it frees you up to be able to see stuff more clearly and, you know, be a little more immersed too in some ways. But, man, it makes all the difference. I mean, watching him race with it, it was just like such an obvious difference because you could just see that he was able to figure out what he needed to do. But watching him do that, like, I really desperately want VR. I've always wanted to get VR. I haven't considered it worth it for most of the time. I mean, I got to try it once when I was in school. Someone that I went to school with brought it in one day, and let people try it out. And it was still in the old days when Oculus was such a new company, and I remember very clearly whatever we tried out was like this old like cobble like village with this really cheesy roller coaster, this really cheesy like virtual roller coaster. But man, it was terrifying. I absolutely cannot stand roller coasters, and I hated riding on that in VR, like doing the thing on it. I couldn't do it, and if you asked me to do it again today, no. That was a no-no for me. So, you know, I've had experience in it very lightly. Like, I know kind of how it functions and stuff like that, and I know people that use it very regularly. But I also, I follow a few people that post, like, VRChat and stuff like that. And I gotta say, for a long time, I didn't really take VRChat seriously, but I just stumbled across, I don't know the name of his channel, I don't remember. But he posts these videos where people are talking, like you're in VRChat, so you're in these really, you know, funny and, I don't want to say outlandish, but these really random, like, outfits and costumes and stuff in VRChat, like their avatars and all that stuff. But they talk about, like, this really in-depth, emotional stuff, and it's like, holy crap. But I think the whole environment of VRChat is, because you're behind that, you know, you can't see this person, like, for exactly who they are. Like, you're kind of taking stuff at face value, obviously, but I don't know. It just feels like it's such a great place to meet new people because there's less of a barrier there with judgment, but also fear. I think it empowers a lot of people to kind of go out of their comfort zone. I think that's awesome. But man, watching those videos made me really, really want to get VR and do VRChat on my own too. I think that would be awesome. So who knows, someday, it's not going to be anytime soon. I mean, right now, the way that I'm doing things right now is kind of riding the thin line where I can't really splurge on anything too crazy because I'm trying to put more effort into my passions and stuff, so I'm working a job that covers the basics of what I need it to cover and nothing more. So that frees up time, but in turn means that I'm a little more limited in finances and what I can spend, which I'm not afraid to talk about. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It allows me to live the life I want to live, but there's a little bit of restriction with it. I will mention this. I do have a Patreon. I haven't really announced it or talked about it much because I don't like to, but I've had a few people say, hey, talk about it, you know. People, like, just people saying, hey, I couldn't find it, you know, tell people how to find it and stuff like this. So I'll link it down below. It'll be permanently in my description from now on, so if that's something that you're interested, it would mean the world to me. Obviously, just the interaction of being able to deal with people on here and find people that have similar passions for these games and stuff like that, that already makes my day. So don't feel too obligated, but if you want to help support me, you want to help me be able to do more, it would definitely mean a lot, and it will not go unappreciated. I have a lot to work on in terms of setting up my Patreon too, so there's a lot more, I think, coming with that I would like to do. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to drop this trailer real quick, and then we will be back in a couple seconds. Alright, and we are back. You might notice I have another trailer attached. Turns out they had a quick trailer run they wanted to see if I could take that's heading back up to a different spot in Glasgow. So we're going to run this up, but I want to go out and around real quick just so that we can explore some more of this city. And hopefully no one's coming here. We're going to go across. Yep, we're good. We're going to go take the scenic tour just so that we can see some more and unlock some more. But yeah, I think VR, like, there's just something about it that makes it so much more comfortable for people. And as someone who, like, would love to turn their turn signal off, that's great. As someone who, like, I struggle with social anxiety, and I tweeted about this. I got a few responses too on Twitter about it. I tweeted this thing the other day, like a song that I really liked, and I put a little caption on it. It was like, you know, I was having a lonely night, you know, I'm single as we speak, and personally, I'm built. I would like to call myself a lone wolf, but there's part of me that doesn't feel like I'm built that way. I feel like I'm I've come to a point in life where I'm trying to rely more on myself to give myself happiness and stuff and not rely on others. But I feel like I'm always missing something when I'm single. Like, there's just that element to it, and everyone seeks it out. I think it's just a part of natural human behavior. Wow. And that voice crack right there is probably why I'm single, to say the least. But I posted that, and, you know, I suffer really badly from being, you know, I'm not good at, like, I installed Tinder, and I had the opportunity to go on multiple dates. I went on one, promptly got home, like, and it was awesome. I had a great time, too, with this girl. Like, I traveled, like, an hour, though, to go see her. That was the one thing I didn't like about it. But, you know, I had a great time with her. I was able to, obviously, get out, see some new areas, meet a new person, and, you know, I genuinely had a good time. It was a lot of fun for me. And I promptly got home, uninstalled Tinder from my phone, and decided that was that, because even though I enjoyed it as thoroughly as I did, it was, the stress of it was just so, it was just too much. And so I've really been trying to figure out how to manage that a little better and work through that. But it is so hard to do. I wish I was built with more, I don't know. It's yeah. And people are probably like, well, you're sitting here on YouTube. What are you doing? YouTube isn't the same thing. I'm talking to myself right now. I'm not talking to a person. I'm not talking to anything. I'm talking to nothing. I mean, I'm talking to something. That's why I'm talking. But there's no physical interaction there that adds to that stress. And that's been a huge thing for me. That's enabled me to be able to speak the way I'm speaking and be open and be, you know, comfortable speaking that way. Like, work, you know, with my work, I've learned so many things and become so much more comfortable speaking with my coworkers, speaking with my boss. I've lucked out with the people I work with. I have an amazing little crew of people that I work with. And, you know, that stuff's hard to find, but it makes it that much easier to be able to handle the tougher situations, to be able to learn how to speak and not be as anxious. But I'm one of those people where if I don't have to put myself in a situation, I won't. Things like concerts, things like, you know, going out to breakfast, things like stuff like that. Like, even my mom graduated from school, and this is huge for her. Like, my father's not a very nice person, and he kind of stopped my mom from being able to follow what she wanted to do and go to school. And so for her to be able to graduate and stuff, that was a huge deal, and we were all so proud. But I almost didn't want to go. I went because it was my mom, but if I didn't have to go, I wouldn't, because it was so uncomfortable. I tried to skip my own high school graduation because I just didn't like the fact that I would have to stand in front of all these people. And this is coming from the drama kid. I was very much in chorus. I was very much in band. I was very much in drama. Like, I was very involved with that stuff. I will say, in drama, I was more behind the scenes for a lot of it, but my teachers really started pushing me to be a bigger role because they knew that was something I was passionate about. That was something that I liked doing. But even then, just the stress of being in front of that many people, even though I was in a small town school and there was, you know, maybe 25, 50 people in the audience, it's just like, holy crap. Which blows my mind too when, you know, here on YouTube, people have audiences of 60,000, 100,000, a million. Like, that's insane. But the difference is those eyes aren't directly on you. Those eyes are on the screen that you know, you guys aren't watching this live. I'm not interacting with you live. This is, and I do like live streaming for that, but again, that's its own nightmare. But I think games like VRChat, enable people to feel more comfortable socializing, to build out those social skills, to be able to have that comfort and speak to people and not have to worry about being judged on, you know, I mean, really the only thing they can judge you on is what you say and your voice. They can't see you, they don't know what your circumstances are, they don't know any of that. Excuse me. And while that obviously presents its own challenges, I think it's a great place for people to go and be able to speak about their issues and kind of, you know, people that don't have access to therapy. I mean, it's part of the world. People don't have access to it. People don't have time. People don't feel comfortable. you know, but people are so comfortable letting go on there. Oh my god. Let's count the voice cracks this game. I don't know what it is. Or this episode. It's not good. I am still getting, I think I'm dealing with allergies. I'm struggling with allergies, so I think that's part of it, but I guess that's about enough rambling from me on VR and stuff, because we're almost to the destination, but I want to hear what you guys' thoughts are on that stuff. Like, have you guys seen these videos? What do you guys think of them? You know, do you have VR? Do you like VR? Do you do stuff in VRChat? Do you know, stuff like that? And, yeah, just let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I think down the road, if I ever have the opportunity, most definitely I'm going to pick up VR and do more with it. And obviously, you know, now that Eric has VR, that opens up new opportunities for him and I to do stuff. But I think VR really is a very limited gaming sphere. Most of the stuff that I do when it comes to games doesn't really have, you know, you can't use VR in Rocket League. You can't use VR in Satisfactory. I mean, I guess technically you could use it in American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck. My only concern with that would be recording, because if I'm recording a game, I have to find out where my microphone is, and unless I had the headset microphone, which typically isn't as good quality, I feel like I would end up, you can't see really where you're oriented. I feel like I'd have this bad habit of turning away from the microphone more. I think that's why Track IR is kind of the perfect thing for American Truck Sim, because it enables you to be, or Euro Truck Sim too, I should say. It's kind of back and forth between the two games. It enables you to be able to see kind of, you know, wherever you want to look. You can adjust it so that you don't have to turn your head as far, stuff like that, whereas I don't know if you can do that with VR, and VR is very limiting in that sense. And also, I don't really have the space for VR right now, but, you know, it's just a mixed bag of stuff to kind of deal with. But it is definitely on my want list. It's definitely something I'd love to do. And I will say this too, if you have a DLC or something that you want to see me play or something like that, you can always support me and help me get it. You know, everything comes out of my pocket right now, and, you know, I'm not making any money off of this. The only money that I make off of anything I do is my main businesses, which have nothing to do with YouTube in most ways. But yeah, I guess we're coming down here. I did turn my beacons on. The reason I did turn my beacons on is because from what I see, most often than not, or more often than not, at least when I've watched videos, and I don't know if I went the wrong way here, but I've seen it where people who do this in real life, it's one of the requirements that you turn your beacons on when you go into a facility like this. And I've also seen where, I don't know if I'm supposed to go further down. I guess further down it is. I've also seen it where you're not allowed to film in the facilities. Obviously, we don't really have any restrictions on filming here. That'd be funny if that was a thing. But yeah, so that's why I did that. So if you guys are wondering, it's just because obviously I am in a construction facility. It's no different than a warehouse. I've discussed it before, where in a warehouse you have, you know, a forklift has flashing beacons on it so that people that are working in the warehouse on foot or other forklifts are aware of where you are, what you're doing, your movement, so that they don't get run over or something like that. Which, obviously getting run over is not a very fun experience, so most companies also prefer not to have to spend the money on people to get run over, which is their bottom line. But I'd like to think they care about you, but in my experience, there's very few companies, and I think I'm butchering this backup too, so hold on a quick second. I'm gonna try and straighten out here, and then I'm gonna pull forward and back up again, because I think I'm way off, and I'm gonna hit that trailer, so. But most companies that I've worked for, the only thing that matters to them is the money. You know, when I was working in the warehouse, they always made a huge deal of, you know, if something spills, you pick it up, not because you don't want someone to slip and fall in it and get hurt, but because, and I quote, if someone slips and falls, it costs us $50,000 in insurance, which obviously not a good thing for the company, but the just the fact that they were willing to say that to a person, just like, ew. Alright, let's go ahead, let's drop this, and go from there. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, you know what to do, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't like it, you know what to do too. If you really liked it, feel free to go ahead and subscribe. And I post here 5 days a week. I'm trying really hard to keep that up. Just because I like posting all these different games, and the only way I can do it is if I post that frequently. But if you like it that much, there's also a bell you can hit next to that subscribe button that will notify you every single time I upload, so that you can go right to it. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, you can find me on Insta, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.